Hey guys, we're back with another champion spotlight, and today we're going to be shining the light on the spookiest pumpkin in the patch. Halloween's favorite vegetable, the man, the myth, the legend, it's Harvest Jack. Harvest Jack is a legendary champion from the Undead Hordes faction. He's a soft crowd control champion that specializes in stripping buffs and fittingly throwing fear debuffs on the enemies. Jack's an HP type, and if you take a quick look at his base stats, you'll see that although his defense is kind of average, he does have very high base HP, one of the highest in the entire game. This means you can make him incredibly tanky if you add a few defense stats through artifacts, but it's also especially good for Jack because all of his skills scale off his HP, meaning more HP, more damage. And speaking of skills, let's take a look at what he can do. His first skill is pretty loaded. It hits 3 times, with each hit having a decent chance of removing a buff from the target. And then on top of that, it can apply a fear debuff as well. Fear is not a super common debuff, so for those who don't remember, it works like this. Champions with fear debuffs have a 50% chance to fail when trying to use a skill on their turn. This means they completely skip their turn and end up doing absolutely nothing, which is, as you know, pretty good. There's a stronger version too, True Fear, which works the same but means their skills also go on cooldown even when they fail to use them. Jack's second skill synergizes well with his first and is a very strong skill for disrupting the enemy team's game plan. It's an AoE attack that puts a block buffs debuff on everyone under Fear or True Fear debuffs. It then flips the script on the entire enemy team, replacing any attack buffs with a 50% decrease attack debuff and changing any continuous heal buffs to poison debuffs. This skill can turn the entire tide of battle in your team's favor. Then there's Lord of Terror, Jack's third skill. It's another AoE skill that has a high chance of applying True Fear, or failing that, sleep debuffs. And if True Fear does get placed, those enemies also get a decreased speed debuff and their turn meters get decreased for good measure. This skill can pretty much shut down an entire team on its own. Oh, and he's got a passive too. Leering Grin decreases the duration of all buffs on any enemy champion that attacks Jack. So if you don't manage to get rid of the buffs on Jack's turn, he can also do it on the enemy's turn. As you can see, he's an incredibly effective champion for controlling and disrupting the enemy team. It's really hard to plan out your team's moves when Jack's around. You can remove powerful buffs from the enemy team and even make the entirety of the enemy team skip a turn and put their skills on cooldown. His skills don't hit the hardest, but because their damage is based on Jack's HP, you can build him tanky and up his damage output at the same time. For artifacts, try loading them up with speed and accuracy first, then HP to get a bit of bonus damage. Jack's there to land debuffs first and foremost, so don't skimp on accuracy. There's a lot to say about Jack, but we can't keep the spotlight going on forever. What do you think of Ray's toughest vegetable? Have you got any tricks or treats to share? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more like this. This has been Casper. Until next time, happy raiding.